Hello, everybody, and thank you once again for tuning into another segment of my Outside the Box podcast, which is called About My Father's Business Thursdays. And so, for those of you who may not have seen this before, on Thursdays, I like to highlight Christian businesses, products, and services. And today, I have a special guest with me who is going to talk about what he is doing in the Christian arena. But before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know to please make sure you download the entertainment theater app on Roku so you can watch my show. So a few weeks ago, I made an announcement that my show is going to be available on the Roku, and that's happening now. You can watch shows daily on there, but you have to download the app. You go on Roku, look up Entertainment Theater, download the app, and you can watch replays of my shows, new shows, and things like that. So make sure you show your love and support in that. It's an exciting time for me to be moving up and expanding what I'm doing. So I would appreciate you guys' support in that. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's get right into the interview with Dustin. Dustin, how would you like for me to address you? Do you want me to just call you Dustin or Lyric or what?
Lyrics, Dustin, it really don't matter, whatever
Yeah.
get called both. So, and I
Yeah.
didn't know that about the Roku. That's cool. I'm gonna have to tap into that. That's cool.
Yeah, please do.
No,
And the guy who owns the platform is really passionate about allowing independent creators and things like that to
yeah,
have a place to put their content. So even if
that's
you want
cool.
more information about that, let me know. So
Cool. We'll talk about that. Yeah, soon for sure.
yeah, so today we're here to talk about your music lyrics. I ran across lyrics on social media. It was a total accident. He just wished me a happy birthday. So you guys know on Facebook they put your birthday up there, and then a lot of people started saying happy birthday on that day. People that you probably never talked to on your friends list,
Yeah.
and so he wished me a happy birthday, and we got to talking, and I found out this wonderful message that he has in his music and things like that. And I said, I have to have you on my show. And so that's how we came into contact with each other. But before we get into your music and how you got into your music, can you introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do?
Hey, what's up? I'm Lyrix2Vision. I go by Lyrics or Dustin. I'm a positive, inspirational rap artist, also a public speaker. I also go speak at recovery centers and stuff like that. I'm the CEO of Vision in You Clothing. I like to, all my clothing has a message. I have a, let go, let God. Everything's positive with everything I do. So that's really what I do. I aim to help people every single day. Anybody that comes across me that God sends my way, to help bless them in some way, to lift them off to a more positive area. Because you never know what somebody's going through each
Yeah.
day. You could just cross past and be like, oh man, those yellow shoes are nice. I like, and it could change their whole path. So
Yeah.
why not be a leader by example? So that's what we stand by, is LBX, leader by example, at all times too. But that's the main thing. I'm also an amateur golfer. I'm going after Tiger Woods as soon as this meeting is done. He knows it. He knows I'm coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I do.
Yeah. And so what I thought was really inspiring about everything you do, because once we talked, you talked about how you got into it, because that's like the main thing that I like to
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of discuss with people, because again, like you said, you don't know what people are going through and why they are doing the things that they do, and it's usually a story behind it. And so I like
mhm,
to get into the meat of the story, and yours is really about changing direction, and that's really what kind of inspired me about it, because you started off on one path, you had an experience, and you totally changed direction and
yeah,
started going down a different path, and that's where you are today. So can you talk a little bit about what happened and how you got into the music?
yeah, yeah. So back in 2004, I know it's been a long time I've been doing it. I lost 8 friends in 3 months. It hit me really hard. Um, so I went from poems into writing a song. I wrote a song, my first song called Price of Life, dedicated to those 8 individuals, and I put my heart and soul into it. But that was my very first song. After I did it, I went and did it at a couple of clubs, just to reminisce with the family and friends, and so many parents and family members to come up in it, and it gave them power to know that I was keeping them alive within my words and within what I do. So that inspired me to go further with the music. And the more we kind of got into the music, we started touring. Everything was still on point. We started touring, but I couldn't see clearly of everything. I was just kind of going with it, trying to trying to trying to make a change in a way, but I wasn't seeing that the partying and the alcohol, all that stuff was leading into dark directions. And it all ultimately did in 2019, where I almost lost my life, you know. So um, I'm blessed. I'm very blessed to have that seizure in the hospital that I had, off the bed, split my head open right in front of my mom.
Oh, wow.
Um, about lost it. So I'm blessed for that moment, because whatever I seen where my eyes would close, I came out so strong with God fully through me. Like I always believed in God, but I never really kept God with me. I never really try to understand, more about the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So these last 3 years, I've been working and I've been pushing this positive movement and helping people so much, to where God's with me all the time, and I feel it. And
Amen.
and and,
Amen.
and, and like when I wake up in the morning, the first thing, if I got a breath, I'm so blessed. I'm the happy. That's all I aim for. So um, I did good on that music. We did good. We had fun. But it really wasn't making the point that we scurrying away from the point I was trying to make. So after I did like 35 days in a recovery center. It took about 3 days in the recovery center. I knew I was done. I knew where I was. I could see. So I
Yeah.
just started learning, and I started helping everybody inside the center that was panicking and stuff, and giving them hope, and just helping them feel support and feel the love. So that built me into starting Vision in You Clothing, to starting my music. But my music is very, very storytelling, very deep, and it has it's all positive. There's
Yeah.
I'll talk negative, but I'll help show them a way into the light from something negative, if that makes sense. And I
Yeah.
believe that's my gift, to help heal people, see different perspectives.
Yeah. And so can you tell people a little bit about, because you said you had a seizure and you fell off the bed and you
Yeah.
split your head, and oh my goodness. What was that from? Like, can you tell
So
people exactly what
with,
caused
with
that?
yeah. So within all the years, all the clubs and all the touring and stuff, we drank a lot. A note here: I never even drank a drop till I was 20 years old. 4 days after my grandma died was the first time I started drinking. Um, it got out of hand. I've seen so many deaths. I found my uncle dead. I have a lot of stuff, but I know now, because I used to be like, why me? But I know now that God put me there, because I was strong enough to withhold, rather than than my uncle's daughter seeing, you know what I'm saying? Or
Okay.
other stuff like that. Now when I take on these strong challenges, I know I'm strong. But it was alcohol. I had an alcohol withdrawal, off the hospital bed,
Yeah.
3 years ago from today. 3 years ago from today. That's why, we did it like this, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it's different. I'll remember waking up with a neck brace on. I don't remember none of it. So I wrote a song too that's about that whole moment. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
mean,
And so, like, one of the things that kind of stands out to me, a couple things actually from what you're saying, is that a lot of times you talk about when people say why me, because we don't understand why these bad things happen, why we suffer and things like that. But a lot of times we miss the opportunity God can use that bad to kind of reach us on a different level. And I think a
yep,
lot of people don't understand why he even allows it, because I hear so many people who say, if God is really real or he really loves us, why
mhm,
does he allow all these bad things to happen? Because out of these bad things can come the most beautiful, the most like
yep,
revelatory, a change in perspective that you would never have
yep,
unless these bad experiences happen to you. So they are really opportunities to engage with life and God on a deeper level. But we just don't want to suffer. So we don't, that's all we see. All we see is that we don't want
yeah,
to suffer. But there's a lot of beauty that God can bring out of that suffering. And it makes you
mhm,
see him. It makes you see
yep,
life. It makes you see yourself in a totally, totally different way. And it
yep,
is totally worth the suffering. And so
yep.
that's like the one of the main things that I hear in your story. Did you have any comments you wanted to add about that?
One of my biggest things that I live by, I don't know if you can see my hat or not. These are my
Yeah,
hats. Let go, let God, it says on the hat.
yeah,
So ever since I started really living that, and understanding what that means, anything out of my control, I leave to God, because He's got
amen.
things
Yeah,
within His plan. I've come to believe with Him, everything happens the way it's going to happen, regardless, and God's in control, and I trust His path.
yeah,
Um, I never did before. You know, I mean, I did in a way. Like I used to be kind of like the guy. I'd always pray when I thought I was going to be in trouble and be like,
Yeah.
God, please let me get out. But more, I talk to him 20, 30, 40 times a day. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And and it's just powerful. And one thing I wanted to say about just in case there's any people on the verge or whatever, if you haven't seen a movie called The Shack, that show is beautiful. And that show is powerful. And I promise you, it'll hit your heartstrings so deep, but it won't hurt. It'll be powerful. It'll be like a depth of just greatness, of gratefulness for being able to even see a different perspective, because I
Yeah.
learned so much just from that show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just learn as I go, and I love God first, family second, and the game third. So let's go.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And perspective is everything. And actually, what God is doing, like when the Bible talks about be renewed by the trend, your mind, renew your mind. He's basically saying change your perspective, because
Yep.
perspective is everything, and
Yep.
that's the power of the mind. That's the power of the mind that He gave us, and the power that we create our world around is by our
Yep.
perspective and the choices that we make. So it's a very powerful gift. And if
Yep.
you can see things a little bit differently, everything in life changes, even in
True.
the midst of suffering and
Yep.
loss and things like that. So,
Yep.
absolutely. Now,
Because
another thing that stands out to me about what you're saying is like, after you came out of, the hospital and not the hospital, but the rehabilitation center,
yeah,
when
yeah.
you were in there, you just start immediately trying to help other people.
Mhm.
And to me, this is very indicative of an overflow of the spirit, because once
Mhm.
God fills your spirit, you just
Yeah.
naturally start wanting to do things, and it actually kind of aligns you with your purpose, kind of what he
Mhm.
he put you here for. Because so many times we go through life with this emptiness, and we're trying to fill the emptiness with stuff,
Mhm.
whether it's
Yeah, yeah.
alcohol,
Yep.
music, women, men, things like that.
Yep.
But God totally fills all of those things in you to
Mhm.
the point where you start doing things from an overflow of what's inside of you. And so you
Yep.
immediately want to love people. You immediately want to
Yep.
help people. You immediately want to, pursue whatever passion that He put inside of you, which
Yep.
is what you're talking about. And so these are like priceless things in life that we
Yep.
we often take for granted, or again lose sight of, because we become so focused on our problems and kind of feeling our
Yep.
emptiness. But God is way, way, way bigger than that
Yep.
stuff. And
Yep.
so it sounds like, from your experience, which you go into, you kind of changed direction. You
Mhm.
changed your life. You went down a different path. You wanted to help people,
Yep.
inspire people more. And now today you have beautiful music. I saw your videos and things like that, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. So can
Thank
you
you so
talk to
much.
people a little bit about your music? And I know you
Yeah.
have some albums coming out, correct?
Yeah, I have two albums coming out. I have my solo album called Vision in You coming out. I recently had a knee injury, so all my thing got shifted a couple months down the road. So probably later this summer, maybe fall. And then I also have a collaboration album coming out with another guy who had a seizure in a hospital a year before I did. We
Mm,
speak on the same story, so we got 8 solid, positive records coming on that. And then my whole solo album, it's so beautiful, because once you guys, if you take the time to listen to it and really hear it, um just the way that God's blessed me to put vision into words, you know what I'm saying, and talk about it and help people hear it. Because I know some of the songs, I get people all the time that's like, your song kept me off of drugs, your song kept me from taking my life today, or just because the story that once the blessing that God has given me with my talent within hearing the instrumental, and then automatically hearing a way to go with a concept and how deep I want to go or what I want to touch on. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's beautiful, and I promise you guys, you're gonna love it. And I promise another thing, if you apply the things I say in these songs to your life, I promise you it'll change for the better. That's no
yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
That's why
So
God, I believe, has me here to help push it into people's minds while they're losing doubt, while they're gaining doubt. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
look at the vision. Oh, see, I'm also known as the time is now guy. I don't know if you know, because
yeah,
I always make sure to live in the now. Live in
yeah,
the present. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Focus right now. And if you got a breath, I promise you that's all you need. And with a mindset and perspective, you can take on the world and go anywhere you want to do. I promise you.
yeah, yeah. I like it. So, and so can you talk about, like, I don't know if you want to talk about a song that you haven't that you're still waiting to, because I know you have 2 albums coming out, and then you have past stuff, but can you take us into like one of your most popular songs, like the name of it, what is it about, and stuff like that?
Let Go, Let God is probably one of the biggest records, featuring my guy Hollywood Kilo. He's got a beautiful voice. His voice is like, when you see the video and you see Big Kilo, did you watch that video?
I'm not sure if
Kilo's a bigger dude and he's singing Let Go, but his voice is so soft, but he's a really big dude, so you don't see that.
okay.
And the depth within the message of trying to teach people, let's not focus on what we can't control. Let's focus on what we can control. Let's focus on not what we don't have. Let's focus on what we have.
Yeah.
If we want something else, we need to make a goal chart, leading direction. I got this whiteboard I fill up every single month. Whatever it is, but let go, let God, anything within your control. But the story of his verse and his story and my story, it's beautiful and it's strong. I promise you. And before we even wrap up, if you want to, I can acapella a 16-bar verse, but kind of talk it. That hasn't been released yet. That is powerful. I promise you this.
Go ahead. I want to hear it. Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to hit it now, huh?
Yeah. If you want to, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you offered, so
yeah. Okay. This is called Live It Up. So if you don't know what live it up with a rich mind means, it means we don't need wealth. As long as our mind's strong and we're rich minded, we can take on anything. We can get the money, we can get it, whatever you need. So it's called living it up, living with a rich mind. Well, this is my verse. I'm gonna live it up until my very last breath. My mind's full of riches and my heart's full of happiness. I gave my life to him, so only one thing left: to help you find your vision. That's the promise that I kept. No matter the reason and no matter the cause, this life is yours, so live it like a boss. And I know it may sound rude, but you gotta take control, because time is on that green light. It's always on the go, and it's the way it is, rain, sleet, or snow. So build your mind to be your sunlight and watch it grow into the world and vision that you choose to see. Life is what you make it. It's up to you, not me. This the lesson that I lead. I find the good in everything. The bad will drag you down way deeper than the sea. To find the brighter things in life, only you can see it. I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink it. Boom.
Wow, I like it. Well,
if you apply the mind, let your mind be what you see in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't, just because it's dark and rainy and whatever outside, it's Mother Nature's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Everything's beautiful in life. I've taught myself to only see good, and it's so beautiful. I love it.
It is. Wow. Yeah. And I mean, I talked about in some past shows how I struggled with depression for many, many, many years, even as a Christian. And I really had to learn how to see beyond that cloud. So I understand exactly what you're talking about. And once you start seeing, because depression keeps you focused on the negative, that's a big part of it. But once you learn how to see beyond that and see the beauty in things, oh my goodness, it just really changes your perspective, and you really understand again the power of perception, because those things always exist simultaneously at the same time. It's just what you choose to focus on.
Exactly.
And that's it. Yeah.
And if you can find a way to focus on the goods, the bads don't even come into play. Like, be open-minded. Like, anything that happens, I know God's in control, and if it's out of my control, I step to the side and keep doing what I do. As long as I got a breath, I just want to help people find their true happiness and peace from within, because it's in the vision in you, and that's 100%. I promise you.
Yeah, I like it. And so one thing, like even what you're saying, because I know some people like, well, that's not realistic. You can't just focus on the good all the time because the bad. But the thing is that when you're focused on the good, of course, it doesn't control the bad or change the bad. But when you're focused on the good, it actually, what you just said, it opens up your mind frame to deal with the bad in a different way, and a lot of times in a better way. So it's not about living in denial and acting like the bad doesn't exist. It's about having the mindset to deal with the bad in the best way, instead of letting it, like your lyrics say, just drag you down. So you can do that. So wow, I really like it. And it actually reminds me of my rapping days, because I used to rap as well. I used to rap as well. And I was offered like a small record deal and things like that, because at that time it wasn't a lot of female rappers. That was just becoming like a new thing. And so a lot of people were fascinated to see a young, girl rapping, and I was for like a small record deal, but I didn't take it for the kind of the reason that you said. I wasn't necessarily a Christian at the time. but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like it was gonna take me down to a path, a lifestyle that I didn't want
yeah,
to go. I knew at some point I wanted to live for God. So
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, this is not gonna take me in that direction, and so I let it go. But yeah, it touches my heart in a way you
Yeah.
I know you can't see, because it really reminds me of my rapping days. And so I started out, of course, rapping about stupid stuff, like,
Yeah, yeah.
then my rap started to turn more like what you're talking about,
Once you
lifting your
find
head
yourself,
up.
yeah,
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 absolutely. Yeah,
yeah. And another thing to touch on, to finding the good and bad. There's not one thing in this world that can't turn into a positive. Not one.
yeah, yeah,
No matter what it is. Again, refer to that Shaq show, because what happens to the story at the start of this song will hurt your eyes. You'll tear up. But
yeah,
then to see the depth in the bigger picture, that's
yeah,
when you see the beauty. That's when your perspective will change. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Instead of being single lined on this, your perspective goes,
Right,
you know
it
what I'm saying?
widens.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
But
And
yeah,
that's
that's dope. You have to show us some raps. We'll have to get on a rap one of these times too.
yeah, and I can sing just a little bit
Yeah,
too, just a little bit,
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Heck yeah.
but yeah. So, and so another thing that you're saying that I want to touch on really quickly, and then I want you to tell people about your clothing line,
Yeah.
is that what you said about there's nothing bad that you can't bring good, and that's actually what God does. Because if you think about it, the story of, oh, I mean, the saying that which came first, the chicken or the egg? So what came
Mhm.
first? Was it good or bad? Good came
Yeah,
first. Everything was good. When the Bible talks about God made this, he said
yeah,
everything was good. There was nothing bad. It is the enemy that took good things and
yeah, yeah,
used them for bad. But
yeah,
God can take it right back to what he originally intended it for
yeah,
anyway. And so that's
yeah,
when the scripture talks about all things meant for your bad can be turned around for your good. It's just God reordering it back to the way he always intended it to be for the to the beginning, or to begin with. And we have to trust him and know that he has the
yeah,
power to do that. Like, he has the
yeah,
power to take the worst circumstances and bring the good out of it, and turn it into
yeah,
something good. And it's very, very powerful, because we within ourselves, we don't have the power to do that. But
yeah,
if we lean on the one who does,
yeah,
then he can help us, be able to work with him in order to do that. And so that's
yeah,
another good point that I think of what you're saying and with your raps and everything like that. So I really love it. Like, truth
yeah,
is,
yeah,
I love truth. I love positivity. I love, people just seeing life from a deeper perspective. And so I really like
yeah.
your music. I like your videos. I like your message. Like, it really ignites something in me. It makes me
Yeah.
really excited. So,
Thank you so much. That bring that up. That's like that. I think is a Christian singer's name. I don't know if it's something Tyler or Tyler something, but at the start of one of his songs, he says, "Maybe I'm asking God the wrong questions. Why me? Why me? Maybe I should ask, can you help me be strong enough to make it through these things? Can
yeah,
you be here with me? Then that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that just
yeah,
brought that
yeah,
video to me, so I had to share it. So yeah,
yeah.
I
And
listen to
even,
a lot of mute, like Christian mute, like all the Tory Wells or Tor, what is it? Torrin Wells and Toby Mac and all them. I go to all
yeah,
their
yeah,
man. Those dudes inspire me. Toby
yeah,
Mac inspires me, man.
yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I have some of his quotes and stuff that I post from
Yeah,
time to time. So,
yeah,
but I like, even when we're talking about the theme of kind of changing direction and how
yeah,
you change direction. Especially sounds like that's what your music is kind of asking people to do, is like change direction, change perspective. And so
yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of an overarching thing. But I want to ask you really quickly before we go into your clothing line, because a lot of people have a problem with Christian music coming across as kind of worldly, and they feel like that it's not real Christian music.
mhm,
Years ago, I mean, the rapping, hip hop Christian music is a
mhm,
fairly new thing in the world of music, especially
mhm.
Christian music. What is your take on that? Since you basically, you kind of rap and
Um,
you have positive messages, things like that. So how do you feel about that?
um, basically, I just call myself a positive, inspirational artist, and I let y'all be the judges of what category you want to put me in. I
Okay.
have my beliefs with God very deep. I'm very in with God. But like it's not all the way. I don't know how to it's all my storytelling has God in it, if you
Yeah.
know. So and I think that Christian music's powerful. I
Yeah.
listen to it every single day. K-Love, I think it's called. I listen to it every single day, those first 2 years, 3 years coming out, and I know all them songs. That's how I knew Torrin Wells, Toby Mac. I went, I think Christian music's powerful, and I think it should be shown all over the world because it's
Yeah.
just it's motivating. Even the slow, sadder songs of Christian music brings out big to where it brings you
Lift
up.
your spirit. Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
music in the world that, in my mind, in my opinion, that you can just push play on and let go, and you don't
Yeah.
have to touch it. I can
Yeah.
listen to Stay Love and jam all day, and it's all powerful. I don't even got to know the song. You just feel the energy. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Amen. Yeah.
So yeah,
Agreed.
I love it. I think they should be shown all over the world.
Yeah.
I think there's great artists.
Yeah.
So
I
Kingdom Music,
agree.
all those guys, yeah, they're all good. I think they're out of Texas. They're all good people. Brian
Yeah.
Trejo and all them, and you got Seven clear up in Cali, and then I don't know what's his name's from. I can't think of his name now. But anyway, yeah, I think the music's beautiful. I think it's better than 90% of the stuff they play on the radio. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm an older cat, so I'm trying to learn this new stuff they doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I agree. Truth is truth. It doesn't matter. And that's when you get people that get this like traditional or religious idea about Christianity that it has to be a certain way and displayed in a certain way. And truth is truth. It doesn't matter how it comes, and you just let the truth kind of speak for itself. So I totally agree. And I kind of like, even with, you not necessarily labeling yourself as a Christian artist, but more so as a positive artist that but clearly you're a Christian, but you don't fit the typical Christian mold. Like, you have tattoos, you have your urban wear, and people need to get out of this idea that Christianity has to look a certain way. Like, because that's where my show Outside the Box is like, hey, we have to open our minds to see God in a different way, because we're limiting our perception of him, what he can do with us, and things like that. When you are expecting him to do things a certain way, say things a certain way, look things a certain way, like, his mind is way beyond anything that we can fathom. So you have to be open, open to however he comes, so that you can see him when he does come. So I like all of that. So anyway, now before we wrap up, let's get into your clothing line, because not only do you have your music, but which was inspired by what you went through, but you also have a clothing line. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I got a clothing line I started in 2020. No, it's 2019. The fall of 2019. So right after recovery, I started it, and I was always wondering what would I name it, and one day I was giving somebody advice, and I was like, you need to be that vision in you, and then that's when it hit. So it's just the clothing with vision in you is powerful from within, because once you find out who the vision in you is, that's stronger than, besides God, that's stronger than anything. Your confidence and self-love within yourself is so powerful. People don't realize, they don't give themselves that much chance. They doubt themselves so much. But like anything you don't know how to do, you got the internet, you got YouTube, you can learn anything. You know what I'm saying? Don't give up. Just because things don't happen right now means it ain't time. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be patient and accept what comes, accept what you cannot change. And that's what my music or my shirts represent. And because I got the Go Let God designs, I got the Vision in You ones. I don't have like a whole bunch of clothing. I have dresses and stuff like that. But it's just mostly like a clothing that I just want people, if I can one day get to where I can branch it out to the world, you know what I'm saying? That would be, if my biggest, I don't want money, I don't want fame. My biggest thing is I just want people to believe in themselves. That's it. I don't want none of it. But like, if I didn't have to pay to make these, I don't make anything off them. But if I didn't have to pay to do them, I don't have money like that to just give it out. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to inspire people to know that, I went from 2019 getting picked up off that hospital floor to, I'm up to probably like 12 music videos, probably 30 positive inspirational songs, and I can't even count the number of people I've spoke to what Vision in You and Time Is Now means and help them. So that's what my clothes represent, is just you. I want you to go out and represent you. Like the 13th of every month, I call it Vision in You Day. The 13th is my dad's birthday. That's close to me. My dad passed, so my number's 13 on everything. But I put it on my Facebook, and I get people to try to follow. What's your goal for the day? What do you want to do for yourself today? Not nobody else. It's the vision in you, because you have to do for you regardless. If you can't find you, how are you going to be helpful to a husband or wife, a boyfriend or girlfriend, to your kids? You know what I'm saying? You got to take that deep, and that's just what it stands for. So when you see vision in you, it's obvious in a way what it means, but it's so much deeper than you get. You know what I'm saying? So,
And
That's
I
it.
think that's one of the side effects that comes from, having a relationship with God and getting in tune
Mhm.
with God, is that he shows you who you are. Like,
Yeah.
he shows you the gifts he's put in you, the talents he's put in
Mhm.
you, your value and things like that. And
Yeah.
again, that overflow, it just comes, and then you're able to kind of give that out to people in a more pure form, I would say. And
Yeah.
so absolutely, like a lot of people have this idea about, the best you and all that stuff outside of God, but you can't really know. You didn't create yourself.
No.
So you can't really know who you are outside of your creator. You can't.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you think you do, but you can't, because you didn't create yourself. So I like that, the whole thing, and understanding, because I know even for me, my relationship with God has helped me understand myself much better.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's why I like this stuff. That's why
Yeah.
I do this. That's why I do that. So I like the whole thinking behind the vision in you. I think it's great.
But
Yeah.
to quote something on that, something one of my close friends always says is, when you're lost, think of yourself as far back as you can remember as a child, without life's distractions. That's you.
Yeah.
Find you. You know what I'm saying? And that's real. Find
Yeah.
you without life's distractions. You know what I'm saying? That's the real you, because we can't control what's going on. Like, the world's crazy right now. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Every
Yeah.
night when I pray, I tell God, I say, I don't understand the plan, but I know you're in control, and I know, and I just, please be with those families and everybody that's getting hurt. Please find a way to, if this, but it's a plan. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, let's put the put the spirit of you, just shoot it in somebody if they don't. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
reach them,
Yeah. Absolutely.
or
Absolutely.
let them cross my path and I'll reach them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And they'll smile when I'm done. I promise.
So are you a motivational speaker as well?
Yep.
Because I can
Oh,
definitely see you
oh,
doing
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I do. It's the passion in me with vision and with what I do. So yeah, motivational speaking, positive speaking. I've spoken to recovery centers. People always ask me, do my songs ever talk? Because you talk about the alcohol thing that almost died, and they ask if you ever talk about the alcohol, and I'll talk about it here and there, but I don't highlight
Focus.
it, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Because I've overcome it. I haven't had a drop since. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I just want to show people how strong we can be. So,
Yeah.
like, we can, all of us can. Just,
Yeah.
I don't even watch the news. I don't watch none of that stuff. I just listen to music and help people. That's like, after this music, I don't know if you want to go to there, what I'm going to do after music, or
Yeah.
if you,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So after these 2 albums release and probably 6 more videos, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to have CDs on me, of course, but I'm going to put it out there to the world and let it do its thing, and just let y'all. 21 songs are coming to all platforms, and they're all beautiful. I promise. They're coming. I'm going to let it do its thing, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me some of those little tents that you see at, like, festivals and stuff.
Hmm.
Give me a nice custom one with Vision in You, and I'm gonna go join all these festivals all over Utah. And then when people come up and talk to me, I'm gonna have my CDs, I'm gonna have my clothes, and then I can also talk to them and spread my message around the world, and just kick back and know it's not like I'll make a little bit of money probably just to cover whatever. I don't care, as long as I can make what I make and cover my end. I just want to go out and meet people and be like,
Yeah. I love it.
"Hey, what's wrong, man? You got a breath in your body. Take it. It's up to you." Like, if I ever introduce you guys to my guy JP P Funk, he's a dude from the streets. But he's doing so much for the community. He don't want people to go through what he did or have to be who he was, because
Hmm.
he trusted the code of the gangs. You know what I'm saying? So he is still that person, but he's trying to do it in a different way. Me and
Yeah.
him, God brought me and him together 2019, and we've changed so many things, done so many community events in Utah since
Hmm.
me and that man mixed up. And Breadheads, that's a shout out to Breadheads. They're coming, and they're a big thing. So, man, I just get inspired. I'm sorry, I could talk all day. So,
No, no, it's fine. I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
love the passion. I love the, like, just a purpose. Like, you can
yeah.
tell from
I
living a
even got
life
the
of
chills.
purpose.
I even got the chills. Yeah, yeah.
Living a life of purpose and passion and helping people, like, you can't beat it with a stick. I mean, you really
Nope.
can't. And I can definitely sense that from you. And I can see you going out doing these different events. Like, I love it. I really love it, because it's very easy for people to feel like doing stuff like this is too big, it's too much. I can't do that. Who cares what I have to say? and
Yeah.
you're just going out there, you're doing it, and you're reaching whoever you reach. And I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. So let
And
people know where they can find out more about you. Like if you're doing events and things like that, you can let people know what social media platforms you're
yeah,
on
yeah.
and things like that, how to connect with you.
Okay. So my Facebook is under Dustin Lyrix, Lyrix with an X. Instagram, all platforms, and my YouTube are under Lyrix2Vision with the number 2, but it's all one word, Lyrix2Vision with an X2V. But we got a golf event coming up in June where we rent out the whole golf course and all the kids and families come golf for free. We have DJs, hot dogs, all everything like that. Plus, I'll be there instructing and helping some people, doing giveaways. Um, we just did a haircut thing. So right now, not too many big events because I'm still recovering with this knee. So
Mm-hmm.
my biggest focus is to finish these 2 songs that I got for each album, and then the 6 videos and go from there. But Lyrix2Vision is where you find me on everything, really.
Okay, and so you guys above, or I think it should be above this post, you can find all his links and things like that if you
Yeah,
want to reach out to him. And also I'll have a couple links up there for some of his videos if you guys are interested in looking at that.
yeah.
But make sure you reach out to Dustin or Lyrix2Vision
Mhm.
if you have any questions or comments, or just even talk about how his music might have helped you and things like that, because it's always good for creators to know how what they're doing, how it's affecting people, and it's having a
Yeah,
positive effect. So thank you so much once again for tuning
yeah,
into About My Father's Business. Very, very excited to
yeah,
have
yeah,
you and meet you and talk to you, and
yeah.
just, I mean, you've inspired me. So I'm thinking like, oh, what else can I be
Yeah,
doing? So
thank you so much.
right,
Yeah. And
no
one
problem.
thing, never forget, never stop loving you. Like real talk.
Amen.
Always, love God and find out who you really are and just believe in yourself. At the end of the day, never give up.
Amen.
We're
Amen.
not promised tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? So believe in yourselves. Much love. God bless. And yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And I think that's a good place to wrap up. So
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you once again. And
yeah.
you guys make sure you watch out for my next Outside the Box podcast on Saturdays, my other About My Father's Business shows, and also Testimony Tuesdays. So thank you so much. And you guys be good. Until next
And
time.
the time is now. Look.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.